Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sangeeta. How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much. Looking forward to this powerful panel today. I've been waiting for this.
Eerie silence for a room full of ladies, I must tell you.
we still, I think Shweta is yet to join.
It is always the iceberg before you hit the bubble, right? On the deep into the top of the iceberg is the same thing. I know the session is going to bring so much of knowledge and so much of experience. Maybe another 5 minutes, we should be able to address it.
I'm thinking maybe we could kind of just get started and allow
Okay.
Shweta to come in because I see her coming in already.
Perfect.
Yes, Shweta.
Great.
Yes, I can see her.
Shweta's here. Perfect. So again, a very, very, very good morning, ladies and gentlemen across the continent. Today's session is very, very close to my heart. Effective networking for business. What more I could talk about it, because that's something I have been highly benefited. Let me take the honor and pleasure to introduce our moderator, Neha Mathur, who's the founder, the Missing Piece Image Consultancy. Our honorable speakers are Sudha Suresh, Principal Designer, SNS Design Consultant, Annie Kumar, CHO of Netflix.com, Shweta Shetty, co-founder and COO of OVI Hosting Private Limited, and Khushbu, Executive Director at SNIA India, Chief Growth Multiplier at Resonate Production, and Experienced Designer. What an amazing profile to have at this panel, and welcome ladies on the board. Over to you, Neha.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. Thanks a lot for that. So I will go a little bit extra and do a little bit more on the introduction part of my distinguished panelists. So let me start with Sudha first, right? So Sudha is an experienced interior designer with a demonstrated history of working in the design industry. She's skilled in creating spaces that make sense functionally. She specializes in custom-made interiors and has designed more than 400 plus homes. Strong in art and design, professional with a degree in interior design and spatial design. With 25 years of experience, and she's founded SNS Design Consultants with a global footprint from 1996. She has successfully completed more than 400 projects in residential, commercial, hospitality, hospitals, industries, and retail space. An entrepreneur on a mission to impact many people's dreams with a vision of making a difference and making interior design a lovely experience for her clients. She calls herself a visual storyteller. Sudha also has a keen interest in design and has taught interior design at Rathi Learning School. And to new interns, her strength has been long-term relationships that lead to repeat business and finding quick solutions for any crux. Welcome, Sudha, to the panel. So happy to have you here.
Thank you, Neha.
All right. So now introducing my next panelist, Annie Kumar. Now, Annie was born in Devlali, Nasik at an artillery center to a multicultural and multiracial family. Moved to Bangalore 20 years ago after her marriage. She has an 18-year-old son, Dhruv, who she describes as the very fulcrum of her inspiration. She started her entrepreneurial journey 17 years ago with her partners and her sounding boards, Jeetu and Mukesh. Her journey of success started, listen to this carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Her journey of success started with one business, 3 stores, 9 team members, and 9 crore turnover in her Forex business. Today, that has grown to 5 verticals of business, 16 stores in the country, 1,400 partner locations, 385 team members, and looking to cross the 1,000 crore mark soon. Amazing, amazing, Annie. And out of the 17 years that she's been an entrepreneur, 13 of those she's been part of BNI. She says that BNI has changed her outlook to life, business, and most importantly, relationships. We'll get to hear a little bit more about that. Her journey is a simple one with abundant opportunity that she says she was able to leverage because of the power of association, the power of having people around her who were stronger and more than willing to support her. Right? So welcome, Annie, on the panel. So happy to have you here.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. So moving on to our next panelist, Ms. Shweta Shetty. Now, Shweta is the co-founder and CEO of OV Hosting Private Limited, and her company owns two very popular and award-winning brands, WebBazaar and Hosting Raja. Now, collectively, both the brands have served over 2 lakh customers across the length and breadth of India. Their vision is to be the #1 hosting company in India and to help at least 1 million local businesses get online and get noticed. They are experts in web and cloud hosting, digital marketing, and web design. Now, Shweta herself has a degree in law, BCom from Narsi Munji College of Commerce and Economics, Masters of Commerce from Mumbai University, and a PGDBA from St. Joseph's College, Bangalore. Well, no wonder her friends call her a degree collector. Shweta loves reading on Kindle and is an avid networker. That's why she's here on the panel. She's been featured multiple times on DD News channels and in print media, in Deccan Herald, Data Quest. I can just go on and on and on, right? I think in 2019, Shweta was featured in a book launched by her alma mater, Narsi Munji Mumbai, on 50 successful entrepreneurs from Narsi Munji College. She speaks occasionally at management colleges and entrepreneur groups about networking and how to leverage digital marketing. Welcome on board, Shweta. So happy to have you here on the panel. All right. And last but not the least, Khushbu Gupta, my fourth panelist here. Khushbu, after completing her master's in computers, she climbed the corporate ladder quickly and was leading a team in telecom product development at a European MNC. She quit a cushy job to do more with her life than just make money for herself. Resonate Productions is established as one of the most trusted and professional firms and valued by their clients for excellence and bringing in the latest event technologies to India, thus pioneering innovation in events and weddings. Khushbu is also helping SMEs catapult growth in her role as a sales and marketing consultant. She's also the executive director for the Storage Networking Industry Association of India, the India chapter of SNIA, a non-for-profit association of the leading hardware and software companies in the networked digital storage and information management business. She's also part of an international business network and has grown there to hold many regional roles in her pursuit of helping SMEs in their growth through business networking. Welcome, Khushbu. So glad to have you on board. And welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for being here on the panel. No wonder, I mean, going through your introductions, no wonder you're all here to share your story and tell us about networking for business. So let me start with the first question that comes to my mind. And I think I'll start with Annie. Annie, what does networking mean to you? What comes to mind?
See, I think for me personally, Neha, networking, so there is a co-panelist here who I also have a lot of love and affection for. In fact, I look up to her a great deal. And one day in her conversation, she said, leadership is not a skill, it's practice. Shweta, I hope you remember. So this is what I took away from that conversation. And I kind of, it resonates with me when we talk about networking as well. To me, networking is not a skill, it's practice. You keep doing it over and over again, you learn new things. And to me, I think networking is just a genuine way of connecting with another person with a genuine intent to create value for both of them, for two people in that conversation. So I think that's what it primarily means for me.
Brilliant.
So
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much, Annie. And from Annie, I move to Shweta. Shweta, of course, tell us more. What comes to your mind when you hear networking?
Yeah, I mean, similar views is what Annie is also sharing. It's more about human connection, right? I mean, it's networking is just a natural extension of who we are as human beings. And in business, again, you just need that many more connections to keep opening doors in terms of, opportunities for yourself, or, the people that you're working with. So networking is just that. It is just making a few more, what do you call, meaningful connections with the people that you are meeting. So
Nice.
that's what it means to me.
Yes, meaningful human connections that can open doors for you, right? Sudha, what about you?
I should say ditto from whatever Annie and Shweta said. Yeah, it's about meeting new people and interacting with them. Trying to build relationship is what you need to be primarily focusing on. That's what I learned in the due course of networking. And it's essential to interact with everyone in the group so that they know who you are, and you're able to build the trust also. So yeah, you need to keep people and yourself engaged for mutual benefit, I'm thinking, in networking.
Yes, I think yeah, that building of trust is very crucial, especially as business owners for all of us,
Yes.
right? Khushbu, what about you?
You're asking an introvert. I'm a very forced networker, if I can make an honest confession on this call. Yes, I'm a very forced networker. So for me, it's actually being able to connect on a one-to-one basis with people who you can kind of build deep, meaningful relationships with. When you network, I feel you don't really kind of connect with everybody in the room, but sometimes you kind of connect deeply with some of them. And for me, that I feel is the real networking in the true sense.
Yes. So basically what I'm hearing from all of you is it's all about connections. It's all about those deep, and not just connecting and just like, just meeting someone for once and that's networking, but actually investing in that relationship and building that relationship and nurturing the relationship, right? That's what and that's what I also look at networking as. So comes my next question. And I think Annie, you did touch a little bit on that. Now, a lot of people like how Khushbu, you just mentioned, I'm a forced networker. Some people are natural networkers. To some, it comes very naturally. To some of us, it doesn't. Some of us are forced into it, right? So do you think, is this a skill that we can kind of build over time, or, you either have it or you don't? What's your take on that? Again, I'll start with you, Annie.
Thank you. So, Neha, I think that all of us, generally can network. We know how to communicate. If you remember, the finest networkers are toddlers, Neha. Have you realized they don't say a word? Okay, they get what they want and they leave you happy, even if you're not. I mean, they get their jobs done, and then you're actually still smiling, doing something that they want, So I think networking is something which comes naturally to us human beings. We network with our parents, we talk to our family members. We are a large community. In India, if you realize, we're joint families. We have uncles and aunts. So we believe that, I mean, to me at least, networking is something that once one knows how to do, one has to hone it. Some of us, like Khushbu says, she's an introvert, right? So I myself say that. I said I'm a personal introvert and I'm a professional extrovert, because that's what, when you meet interesting people, you want to take away in things from conversations, you want to go to the next level of learning. And I think the only way that happens is when you talk to people, when you it's creating a space, Neha. Personally, for me, I believe when you network with somebody, you're making yourself visible. You're creating a space in that person's mind, and I think that is something that you can always practice, something that you can always learn. I think you can always learn to be a better networker. As long as you're sensitive, I think networking can always be honed as a, as a skill, or as something that you can always practice. So I think network is practice and learning in progress always. So that's what at least I feel.
Thank you for that, Annie. Yes, I think what you mentioned about the toddlers, yes, because they have no inhibitions. They don't have, life hasn't really happened to them, so they just don't think. I think as adults we think too much before doing anything, and that's why I want to come to you, Khushbu, because you said you're a forced networker, right? So maybe tell us a little bit about how, from a forced networker, how do you manage, right? Of course, it's a skill that you're showing that it's a skill that you're honing. How do you do it? What's the story there?
I think it's like Annie said, the only motivation or inspiration or whatever you may want to call it is that you draw so much from people around you, right? When you observe people around you, when you engage in conversations, there's so much you draw from them, you learn from them. Sometimes you get inspired by them, and that's the one thing that kind of makes me do this or brings me to it, and which is why I enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's not like a forced thing anymore, but the whole point is that from being an introvert to being somebody who can have conversations with people, I think it's because I can learn from people like Annie, Shweta, Sudha, and you. These are examples in the room with whom I interact on a regular basis. And I feel that that's something that actually helps me and makes me want to do it more. So yes, it's a skill. Yes, it can be acquired. Yes, it can be honed with practice. And the willingness comes from the learning that we get from the people that we interact with.
True. Yes, I can totally relate to that, because somewhere when I also started out on my entrepreneurial journey, I was also a shy entrepreneur. I would take my own time. I would reach to events late, nobody should come and talk to me. I don't want to talk to people. Let's just get straight to the job. So yeah, I can relate to that. Of course, I've changed over the years. Sudha, what's your take? Or do you have any interesting story to share?
So yeah, I would also say that I was an introvert when I started off, because I was fairly young when I started off in my profession. And so I would only meet the very what shall I say, qualified and the bigger architects and all of them. So, you always have that thing in you, do you fit up to them? But in the due course, yeah, I have learned, and as everybody said, that you can hone the skill. And yes, so we've all done it. And knowingly or unknowingly, as Annie said, like toddlers, since then we start networking. If you remember, in schools and colleges, we were part of groups. And I think it is just that you need to get a little comfortable in the group, and then, your potential is actually seen. So yeah, Khushbu, we do see that once, all of us get comfortable in our necessary networks, and we are able to leverage whatever we can get from the network.
True. I think yeah, and that resonates for me, because we don't hesitate in our social groups, right? We don't hesitate with our friends or with our families. It's only in the professional space and as our entrepreneurs, in the when we are interacting with fellow entrepreneurs, that's when we maybe hesitate a little bit. So I think yeah, the more we practice, the better we get at it.
So that's why you need to keep meeting people more often. So
exactly, bang on. Shweta, what about you? What's your take on this?
Networking kind of happened to me. I wouldn't say I'm an introvert. I'm a fairly extrovert. I'm a people person. I enjoy meeting people. But I think the formal type of networking was kind of something that I gravitated towards, because when I started my business, I was very new to Bangalore. I mean, I'm originally from Mumbai. And I came to Bangalore, and we started this business, and I essentially knew only 2 or 3 people. Both were all all relatives mostly. So how do you get new customers if you don't know people when you're starting, when you're a startup, and there is nobody around you? You have 1 or 2 or 5 employees maybe, and they're all looking up to you to bring in the business, bring in the customers. So how do you get new customers for your business? So I was doing a lot of cold calling, literally. I mean, traveling from pillar to post in city like Bangalore, you can imagine. And I was bone tired, literally. I was so tired. End of the day, you'd come back home and you'd be like, sometimes you start doubting whether you should be an entrepreneur in the first place, or just go back and, join some nice job and be fixated with a 9 to 5 cushy jobs, fixed income, all of that, and so when I got introduced to BNI and other networking groups, I realized this is a much better way of, connecting with people, bringing in new customers for your own business. So that is how I kind of gravitated towards networking. And I think the quality that helped me most was curiosity. That, I'm curious as a person, so I'm curious to know what the other entrepreneurs are doing. How does their business work? What is their revenue model? What makes them keep going on a day-to-day basis? So networking to me kind of, helped understanding so many other businesses, also acquiring mentors for our own business, right? When we are startups and we don't know how to go about things. So not just getting new customers, but also meeting a lot of seasoned professionals who've been there, done that, gone through the same problems. You can have open discussions with them. Otherwise, entrepreneurship is a fairly lonely journey. You're on your own. You have to do stuff on your own, figure out things on your own. So when you have people that you can reach out to and talk to, it becomes that much more attractive. Then you kind of, want to do more of it.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I was very curious. I wanted to, learn, wanted to meet more people, understand them. And that's how networking happened for me. And, the relationship building followed with that.
Yeah,
So,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's the curiosity, and I think it's somewhere also addictive, right? Because again, whether we are introverts or extroverts, we want people, we want that connect with people, even as business owners. And like you rightly said, entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. So if there is a space where you can connect with people, you can get mentors, you can, see that you're not the only one going through the struggles as a business owner, and share, your happy moments and your I won't say failures, but I will say learning moments, learning opportunities, because everything is a learning opportunity for an entrepreneur, right? So how do I make it better the next time? So that networking provides, I think, for all of us, and I think all of you will.
And it is much better than cold calling. Like, for
Absolutely.
business. Absolutely. So much better than cold calling and, knocking on doors which are not open. So,
Yeah,
so much
and
You
better.
again,
actually meet some really lovely people and you make friends forever.
that's
So
true.
yeah.
That's true. In fact, there's a quote that's coming to my mind right now, because it's especially for who are not natural networkers, who we call ourselves introverts. I think it's about courage, right? And it starts, first thing, the courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Because if you let yourselves be seen, that's when the world knows about your business. And like how you said, Shweta, getting customers was a challenge, and I think this is a stepping stone also to get more customers, to let the world know that, hey, I'm here, I'm open for business, I'm ready to interact with you. So that's one, again, it's a courageous step that we all take when interacting with others, right? All right, so moving on, I'm sure, since you all are so pro networking and you all love the idea of networking, I'm sure in all of your businesses you've had huge successes purely as a result of networking, right? Maybe you interacted with someone, um, ended up like getting a huge deal or something. So Sudha, I'll start with you. Is there some story that you want to share with the audience today, in terms of how you as a business owner benefited purely by networking?
Yeah, I should say that, Neha, that I have benefited immensely by networking. I must say I've had a few successes. I've met some really nice people and who have become friends forever, as I mentioned earlier. And I have had the opportunity to collaborate, in my business. So, and I've been able to build a team that who are professional and who will deliver the best for whenever I require. And I've made some really, some good what shall I say, connects and businesses. So I've had a big business come from networking where it's gone to 2 tier and 3 tier, and the value of one of the referral was close to 2 crores. So I should say that at least 40 to 45% or to 50% of my business comes from networking. There has been a few years where it's gone to even 70% of my business comes from networking. So I'm part of a couple of other networking also. So you need to be, part of many networking events and places like this, so that for you to build your business. And all this happens only when you are active in your networking group, and you need to take on some prime roles and tell people that you are, able, they can trust you.
Absolutely, absolutely lovely. I mean, almost 70% of your business. I know for even if it was a short period, I think that's just amazing. That's thank you so much for sharing that. Khushbu, what about you? In terms of your business, how have you benefited from networking?
So some of these clients, also end up being one of your favorite clients, right? People who you enjoy working with, not just because you have the money in it, but it's something that you kind of connect with, and it becomes a very long-term association. So I'm actually proud to share that this gave birth to a different vertical altogether in my organization as well, where from events we went on to collaborate and work so deeply with the client that we actually got into management consulting for them, took over the entire India unit for them and things like that. So it's actually given birth to a whole vertical for me, just because of a referral that came from somebody who was not even part of my active network, who had moved out of the active network, and who still actually had that trust and faith in me, because of the relationship we shared while we were networking actively together, as part of PNI. This led to a totally different vertical for me. So I think, what more can it mean in business when you kind of discover a whole new strength in the organization and get started on that? Of course, the money comes with it. So it's been a very amazing journey for me, including the Women Economic Forum, right? This is also a result of the same network that we're part of, where something leads to another, and this is a tier 3, tier 4 kind of a connection. So we're just 7 people away, they say, in the universe, right? So I think, so there's more coming. I'm sure this is already on the 4th level. So let's see what happens next, and I'll tell you, Neha, for sure.
You're reaching that 7th level very soon, my dear. Annie, what about you?
So for me, Neha, every business from the first one that I think I remember. So the first business experience per se for me, when I was in school and during holidays, we had this, we used to have this tie and dye craft. So I was doing those, and the first sale or the first monies that you actually own for me came from making the sale of that tie and dye dupatta, which was sold to my aunt, my neighbor. Okay, that happens. I think that was my first network. How do you leverage a network? You hang your dupatta out to dry for everyone to see, and then you find out neighbors coming in, ki ye kya hai? So I think right from there to every business, that every opportunity that the universe has been very gracious to share with me, and I've been able to optimize, has come through the ability to speak freely, to express what is it that you want with people around you, and suddenly you find that when you're genuine in your intent of what you want to do, okay, suddenly people around you are talking about, what, I know that person, you should talk to that person, maybe I don't know how to do this, maybe they will. And everything from my forex business to the media business to this fantastic collaboration that I have with Mr. Balaji and Aarti with Golden Square, everything came from a conversation. And that's what I always believe networking is. So every success story that I have personally and professionally, being very, how do you say, graced with, is, I think comes or stems from the fact that it comes from networking, the ability to have a conversation, an open conversation, with another person. So I think that's success. Everything 360 success is networking, being able to open up and speak your mind.
Amazing.
You need to do one more panel discussion with Annie and on the topic of art of conversation.
Oh,
because
yes.
she is just phenomenal at it. And, there are so many ways in which she has a way to, get people to do things and get her way. The art of conversation is something we must learn.
Yes.
And yeah, it's so true. That's how networking essentially begins, right? With the conversations. So it's nicely put.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, Shweta, I would also, I was also thinking of just saying that you actually literally took the words out of my mouth. I think, Annie, you should conduct sessions on, storytelling and how to communicate. You're just brilliant at it. So we're all learning from you, and it's just amazing, amazing.
It's very embarrassing coming from peers, but I think it's just so overwhelming as well. It's just right now, I'm just gobsmacked. You just don't want to say anything, but Thank you. Thank you.
All right, all right. So coming back to the question, Shweta, what about you? What any success that you want to share that happened purely because of networking for your business?
Many such successes very early on, about I think 10 years ago, when I just started our business. There was a conference that was happening in Mumbai, and I was being a little lazy to go, to travel. And then I said, generally these really large conferences, people are just exchanging cards and just talking about their business, and nothing really happens. I was having a kind of a negative mindset, and I was being a little lazy to go. But because it was in Mumbai, I said, okay, we'll go. At least I'll go meet my friends and come back. So that's how I went, and I kind of met a gentleman there. His company's name is Shivami. They're quite big now, and we were looking for partners at that point in time, because we were very strong in technology, and we were looking at somebody who could sell, and then we build websites or portals for them. So that was one of the events that I went to. I met this gentleman there, and then we started conversations. We started having conversations. We kind of put up a pilot project in place, and then that one partnership itself, over the years, we've done 500, close to 500 projects together.
Wow, amazing.
So top tip, don't be lazy. And what Neha was saying, show up. If you show up, that is like 70% of the job done. So so yeah, so there have been many such success stories, but this one kind of really stands out to me because it was almost a missed opportunity. I almost missed it. So so this one kind of stayed with me for quite some time.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm so glad you shared this specific one, because I totally relate to sometimes being lazy, and I also tend to shy away from these really large events because I'm like, oh, there'll be too many people. I prefer one-on-one conversations than these large forums. But yes, that's my takeaway from today. Don't be lazy. Even no, don't worry about how big the conference or the event is. Show up. You never know. You never know what might happen there. So great. And in fact, I think from everything that you all have shared, right, I see stories of collaboration coming out as a result of networking. I see completely new verticals being generated, and something that you probably would not have even thought of. And that's what networking also brings, a new perspective to your own business, a new way of looking at what you're doing, because sometimes we get so caught up in just running our businesses and doing the everyday stuff, going from day one to day two. We sometimes, these networks give us that different perspective where we kind of pause and say, hey, that sounds interesting, let's give it a try. And then magic happens. That's when the magic actually starts. So I think also networking is an ongoing process, right? It just doesn't stop once. And for me, the way what I'm gathering here, and the way I also look at it, is success will come when you consistently make new contacts. You don't become lazy. You keep showing up. And then also, I think the follow-up is important. The keeping in touch with those connects is important. It's just because you've exchanged cards once doesn't mean that, oh, this is going to actually result in a business opportunity or a partnership or even a business deal. It's about following up and constantly keeping in touch with those that you want to keep in touch with, where you see a potential, right? And again, I think as business owners, as women, I might be a little biased here, but I think as women, we have that gut feeling ki, okay, yahan pe we should stay connected. Maybe here we can try later, but this point we should stay touch. Maybe something might just happen, right? So yeah, I think, yeah, thank you so much for sharing those lovely success stories and those amazing opportunities that you all got in your businesses. So now another question that I have in mind, and since all of you are someone, each one of you here on the panel, I really look up and respect each one of you. So now this is what I want to ask you. Now, whom do you look up to or admire, either as a businesswoman or as a networker? And I don't think the two are different, because every business owner, and here specifically, I want to talk about business women. So which is that one business woman that you admire and, look up to her as Amazing, amazing networker. Khushbu, I'll start with you, my first networker. Okay, I think Khushbu's having some, yeah, she seems to be frozen. We'll start with you, Shweta.
So, I mean, one of the business women that I admire is Nina Lekhi. She's the founder of Baggett, and she has a very nice inspirational story, very relatable. Also, she's from Bombay, and I had an opportunity of actually listening to her in one of the networking events I went to. So, she has a nice story of how she has built her business from scratch, and it's an 100+ crores business now. And I'm a Baggett fan. So, I really admire her journey. She has some amazing life goals also. She does work only 4 days in a week, all of those things. So something that, I would like to emulate. I would like to become that and get to that 100 crore marks for ourselves soon enough. And of course, all the ladies here, Annie is a master networker. She has, art. She's an artist actually. Sudha, Khushbu, these are all, amazing, inspirational women. So I look up to all of them. And yeah, so Nina Lekhi is someone, whose story I really appreciate, and I look up to her as a businesswoman.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Shweta. Khushbu, do we have you back? She was back and she's frozen again. Okay, we'll come back to Khushbu. Sudha, why don't you share maybe one or anybody else that you
have so many, all the ladies here, including you.
Oh my God.
As Shweta was saying, Annie can really weave stories, and Shweta, oh my God. What do we call her? Never mind. So is Khushbu and you, Neha.
Some inside joke she's not sharing. Okay, thanks Sudha for being considerate.
Okay, for me, it would be definitely Indrani Yogi, So the way she's, I'm there, okay. The way she has achieved transformational growth in PepsiCo, and I like what she does, about her maverick leadership and the style of purposeful risk taking. So I kind of resonate with that. So I also, take risks in my businesses and in whatever I do. So I quite resonate. And the way she, being a lady from and that too, and what shall I say? She's migrated and she's actually led a Fortune 50 company. She represents the immense importance of diversity and inclusion in all levels of leadership. I think that was simply amazing. So yeah, recently I was even reading up about our Falguni Nair. I think she's doing something really amazing. So yeah, all these ladies, I do take, so many things from all of them, and that inspires me and keeps me going.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Sudha. Annie, what about you?
Yeah, so like when I started, I did mention that, Shweta and what she says sometimes stays with me, and she knows that. I mean, so I think there's a lot of mutual admiration in the room. Neha, Sudha, Khushbu, look at her, I mean, so I believe that there are women, for me, right from my own mother, okay, I am very inspired by the women around me. But I think I would go a little further to say that Savitri Bai Phule is something that I admire that woman. I believe that in a time, I think all of us educated women in this country today somehow owe that to her, because in a time when education was not important for us, it was not even something that was considered for us. This is a lady who knew how to say the right things, how to do the right things, and get a school started, to get education become a part of our lives. So I believe, to me, I think not only do I read a lot about her, not only do I believe that, the very nuance of how to get your work done in a time where it is unheard of.
Yeah.
How to make that social movement happen. So today, aptly, when Ferguson College has changed its name and gone on to become Savitribai Phule, and coming from where I come from Maharashtra. So my mother is a teacher, so I've had a lot of influence of very strong women teachers who are also homemakers, who are also professionals, who also have other hobbies. So I think, for me personally, I take great inspiration from Savitribai Phule, because I think that kind of networking, that very gentle kind of networking in a time where every odd is against you, the ability to take that risk. I think I learned, I invest in risk, Neha. So people invest money in business, they invest time in business. I'm somebody who invests in risk. And I think this ability to do that comes from, I think this is my learning from Savitribai Phule, to be able to invest in risk and to believe in it so much to get things done. So personally, I think there are many fantastic women in the world today in professions, building homes, taking care of us, mothers, grandmothers, sisters, sister-in-laws, all of us build this, and we are great networkers, and we so much to learn. But personally, I think this is the lady I really look up to, and there is a lot that I learned from her. In a Navvari, you can get there, so that's me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, yeah. If you make up your mind to do something, and there's nothing can really stop you. It's just about the determination and grit that you should just keep going forward.
And think about it, Neha. Every educated woman in the country today, whether you think about it, owes it, some way or the other to this lady. Because if you realize where the education movement started for women in this country, these are women like her, strong women like her, who made it possible for us to be able to have this conversation today.
Absolutely. In fact, thank you for sharing that, because I'm actually getting goosebumps right now just hearing about it. So thank you so much for bringing that out for all of us to kind of know about that. All right. So Khushbu, do I have you back here in the room?
Yes, you do. I'm here.
All right. Yes. So who is one, or you can share more than one also, a businesswoman that who you consider as an amazing networker and look up to and admire?
Sonia, it's difficult to actually point finger to one. Like I said earlier, I seriously draw from people around me, which includes the 3-4 people I see on my screen. I really learn from each of. There's so much to learn from the journey from each one of you. And similarly, there are so many other women in our networks. For example, All Ladies League, Women Economic Forum. There is something we call Wiki. There are so many fantastic, fantabulous women who are women leaders, world leaders across the geographies. And when you interact with them, you kind of realize that there's so much of strength that each one brings to the table. And only when you get into genuine, deep conversations with them do you realize how much we can draw from each one of them. If we could just take a little bit of each, I think we would just we would be successful through the roof, I think. So I'm on that journey, trying to be there. So yeah, it's not one person for me. So like Annie said, about Savitri, I think there's also somebody like Ahilya Bai, who probably kind of was one of the first women to be educated herself, like fight the whole space to kind of get it done when nobody would even hear of a girl child being educated. So education definitely brings in a lot of power for us as women, opens our minds, gives us a lot of wings and that strength and courage to do things. Definitely, it all stems from education. But when it comes to business, I think we have to learn from each one of us. Like Shata said, when you go into a room, what's working for somebody, what's the revenue model for somebody, what we get to know about so many different businesses. So it's not one person for me, Neha, but it's these people, strong women, beautiful women, deep women that I meet in these networks that I learn from, draw from, and get inspired from. So all of you, Annie, Neha, Sudha, Shweta, Lakshmi, Priya, Sandy, so many of them, right? So thank you. I actually want to say thank you to all of you.
Oh my, thank you. In fact, yeah,
too.
like I said at the beginning, right? I draw inspiration from all of you, and I feel, and I'm sure all of you also resonate with this, that I feel that we're, as women, we're so blessed that we have such strong and such inspirational women around us that we don't need to look too far. I mean, I'm looking at my screen right now, and I I still think that this is a dream. Like I'm moderating a panel with you guys. It's just amazing. It's just an out of world, kind of space for me right now. So yeah, I mean, it's just thank you for everyone for being such an inspirational person, for showing the path to so many of us. And yes, we all learn from each other. Every opportunity is a learning opportunity for us, right? So even today, we're all learning from each other's stories, we're all learning from each other's perspectives. And that, I think, is the power of networking. Of course, the friendships and those little inside jokes that happen, that is a byproduct. But the admiration, the respect that we get for each other, and women supporting each other, women cheering for each other, and instead of what is the generally said thing, right, that, oh, women do not support each other, women cannot be friends. I think this room is proving that women, successful business women, are secure in their space. They love other women entrepreneurs. They can be amazing friends, and we can still do amazing business with each other, right? Nothing can stop us. Nothing can really stop us, right? So yes, thank you for being those inspirational women in my life and for me as well. All right. So coming to the next question that I have, and a lot of us, right, when people are starting out on their entrepreneurial journey, or even for professionals, right, when they're getting into the space, or maybe even after being in the space for many years, some people still hesitate to network, still don't know what should they do, how should they go about it. So if there are top 2 or 3 tricks or tips that you can give to the audience here on how they can improve as a networker, how they can become from a shy or an introvert or a forced networker to a natural networker, which we all are today, right? So Khushbu, I'll start with you, because you said you're a forced networker. So what tips do you have to give others?
I should have known you'll catch me on that. Yeah, okay. I think what's important is to be authentic. That's my first thing that I want to say. Please be authentic, because nothing works like being yourself. Because when you are comfortable being yourself, then you connect with the people who are comfortable connecting with you and happy to connect with you. So be yourself, be authentic. Please have genuine conversations. And then we say there's something called the golden rule of networking, which Neha was indirectly mentioning about. So it's not about exchanging a card in a meeting or whatever, but if you find someone in a networking event that you really genuinely want to connect with, make sure to take that conversation forward, connect with them on an offline basis, and kind of work on building a relationship with them in a structured way. I'm not saying selling, I'm talking about building a relationship. So that's something that we need to work on when we are networking, because it's about knowing who do I want to be connected with for the rest of my life, or for the rest of few years at least that's coming up. So yeah, that would be my top tips. Thank you, Neha.
Superb. Thank you for that, Khushbu. Annie, what about you?
So Neha, like I said, I think first accepting that I am who I am. So I am somebody who is shy. I am somebody who loves to make a conversation. When we walk into the room, extremely comfortable with who we are, not wanting to be another person at all. I want to be me in a conversation. I want to be me in that room. I think that is one thing. Whenever I mean, this is something I have learned. I have learned this from my younger sister. She is somebody, I have seen transform. She's somebody. I used to always wonder, I mean, she's somebody in the family. She's young, but she's somebody we look up to, because when she walks into the room, there is no gray. There's black and there's white. And I believe that how do people who are, how do people like this move forward? How do they make friendships? And I can promise you, not only has she gotten the strongest friendships, but she is out there. She makes difference in what she does. And I learned from her that you just have to be who you are and be confident. When you walk into a room, don't want to be anybody else. If I'm a shy person, I'm a shy person, and if I'm not a shy person, I'm not a shy person. The other thing that I truly believe in this, is the ability to genuinely listen to another person. Yes. Please genuinely listen. Be in a conversation at one time. There could be 1,000 people in the room, Neha, but if I'm having a conversation with you, then that is our sacred space.
Yes.
You are speaking with me, I am speaking with you. We genuinely have to listen, be present. I think being clear and present in a conversation is something which is so genuine, which is so important, and which will leave that other person respectful of that conversation, even when you're not in the room. And then, the third most thing that I believe is that you follow up, with that. If not immediately, a month from now, a week from now, when you hear about that person, it's not necessary to speak to Neha, but you can speak for Neha. When you hear somebody speaking about Neha, say, you know what, I met that wonderful lady. I am so amazed with her skill of how she turns out and the conversations she makes. I remember that about her. So I think genuinely, being very comfortable in your own skin. Don't want to be like anybody else. I am who I am. This is who I am. And secondly, is the ability to genuinely, respectfully listen to what the other person is saying. Be clear and present. And the third thing is that always remember that person. I'm somebody who can't remember names. I can promise you that. But I will never forget a face. I will never forget something about that person which is genuinely unique. And I hold on to that. So when that does come up, it helps. So it has helped me. Neha, I'm hoping that it's a value and will help other women as well, other people as well.
It absolutely is. And Annie, it's amazing that you just shared that, because when I met you for the first time, that's what I went back home with. The way you spoke to me, the attention that, and the way I felt that, okay, I have 100% of Annie listening to me. And I was still a baby in the entrepreneurial space, right? I was not even a year old in my business and still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself. And there you were, talking to me, giving me all of your attention. There were a lot of other people in the room that you could have easily gone and spoken to. That made me a budding entrepreneur, made me feel so special and so confident in myself. And thank you for that. So yes, it matters. And I've experienced it firsthand. So yes, it really, really helps. And, the other person feels that, and they also feel special. They feel nice about, that the person is giving me attention. All right. So Sudha, what about you? So some tips that you would like to share?
Yeah, like what Annie's mentioned, most of it. So yeah, so she said, to make the person feel comfortable. I think that's what Annie does, when you meet her for the first time, she makes you feel so comfortable. And so you get more confident and, you want to do networking more. And so I would say that, you first show up for any networking event, you need to be there, like all of you mentioned. So you need to first show up and then do intentional networking. Don't be aggressive. So don't try to sell about your product or service, but try and be a good listener and try and help the other person first. And then, of course, we all know that we will also be doing business in the process. So these are the tips that I would give, and I would also say that, uh, try and network with people who are more established in your own businesses, similar business, but who are more established, and people with you admire the most, like how Shweta and Annie were mentioning. So try and see what you can take from these role models, and of course, be a smart uh, meet meet up with people who are smart and who think differently. I think that's very essential. You need to keep evolving also. And also people who, can share a lot of information. I think you should network with those kind of people also. And of course, I would also say people like cheerleaders, people with good intentions and who have, who are good people, like all the people in this room, all the ladies in this room. So ultimately, it is the large network of relationships that you build that is really required. And especially for small businesses, a great network will be a good launch pad for any small business to take off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think I am a testimonial of that. From nothing to wherever. I don't think I've made it yet, but wherever I am today is because of the power of networking, and the confidence that you see. Whatever you see is because of the power and the belief that all of you and so many others have had in me. So yes, it does work. It does work. Shweta, some tips from you.
I know we are running out of time, so I'm going to leave you with only 2 tips.
Okay.
One, I think most of the people, when they go into a networking room, etc., they are kind of riddled with a lot of self-doubt and they're not sure about what to say, how to say, who to talk to. So, just go with an open mind. Don't create a big agenda whenever you are networking. Just go with an open mind. The second thing is, if you're having a conversation with someone, just lead with, how can I help you?
Yeah.
When you are talking to them, just lead with, how can I help you? And that can just be the stepping stone of starting building a relationship with them. So rather than just looking for what's in it for me, you can just lead with, how can I help you? And that could be an ice breaking conversation from there onward, because sometimes it's difficult to network in a room full of people and you don't really know what to say, who to meet, all of those things. It can be a little rattling. So just be open, have an open mind, and lead with, how can I help you?
Yeah, I think these are all brilliant suggestions that you've given. How can I help you? Be yourself, feel confident, don't try to be someone else, be authentic, and listen to others. When you listen to others, you're showing respect to them. So thank you so much for your sharing, ladies, and for being here, being on this panel with me. And I truly enjoyed the conversation. For me, I think if there is a main takeaway that I would like to share with everyone here also, I think networking is not just collecting contacts, right? It's not just collecting those business cards. It's more about planting relationships, right? It's actually nurturing. It's a lot of work. It's not just a one-time thing. It's a lot of work. It's an ongoing process. And if you invest, like all of you said about investing in risks and investing in those relationships, if you invest in your network, if you invest in building those relationships, magic will happen. Be it whether you're a business owner, whether you're a professional, magic happens. And that is the power of networking. So thank you so much. That's it from me for now. Sangeeta, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and we would like to confer an award from the Women Economic Forum. So it's my honor and pleasure to present the Exceptional Leader of Excellence Award to the founder of the Missing Piece Image Consultant, Miss Neha Mathur. A big round of applause for her.
Thank you so much.
My next award again goes to Miss Sudha Suresh, Principal Designer of SNS Design Consultant, another Exceptional Leader of Excellence. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
A big round of applause for you. My next award goes to Miss Annie Kumar, CHO of Netflix.com. Again, on that Exceptional Leader of Excellence. Congratulations, Miss Annie.
Congratulations, Annie.
And next award goes to Miss Shweta Shetty. I'm so sorry if I don't get the name spelling right. Shweta Shetty, co-founder and COO of OVI Hosting Private Limited. WAIF is honored to confer the award of Exceptional Leader of Excellence to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Shweta.
And Miss Khushbu Gupta, the Executive Director at SNI India, another Exceptional Leader of Excellence. Congratulations, Khushbu. It's been
Congratulations, Khushbu.
Yeah, it's an amazing world of digital economy. We're conferring digital award and hearing this powerful story in our small digital room. And it's been one of the wonderful sessions. Thank you so much. Takeaway has been huge. I have been like only conferring back to my, learning what has come from here, that, network is something takes time, but it is builds your ultimate, net worth. Network leads you to the net worth. And it is all about how do you go together as a group. Success is all about working far together in a group. And thank you so much. It's been a wonderful session. All of you opened my eyes to really know how to art of networking. And it's my pleasure to introduce you and confer the award on behalf of Women Economic Forum, and hope to see you next year soon. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you
great.
so much.
Thank you so
And
much.
we would also like to thank
Thank
the
you,
Women
ladies.
Economic Forum for having us.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks, Neha, and
Pleasure,
all the
honor,
ladies.
and hope you keep creating many, many joys, many more impactful lesson in many lives in coming days. And we need ladies like this to create a new India together.
Thank you,
Thank you
Neha.
so much.
Lovely,
Thank you,
bringing out the
Neha.
best conversations. Thank you, all my lovely ladies on the room. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone.
Yes. Thank you everyone, and thank you Sangeeta as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeeta.
Pleasure, honor, and I'm thrilled to introduce you and wrapping the session. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much.
Thank
Rashida.
you
Thank you,
everyone.
Shubhi.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.